we are discussing of the fierce standoff that Iran and Pakistan are facing along the border of Balochistan. There have been attacks and counter-attacks that have taken place on both sides. It is the Shia versus Sunni battle that has gone on for far too long. The volatile situation has further worsened amidst these missile attacks from both sides. Now, the Pakistani Information and Broadcasting Minister has said that Pakistan's top civilian and military leaders are going to be carrying out a security review regarding the standoff with the neighboring Iran. Now, the caretaker Prime Minister of Pakistan has also chaired the National Security Committee meeting. And amidst these developments that are pouring in, let's start off our conversation with our panelists who are sitting on the telecast with us, and particularly with regards to how things have panned out, how is it going to impact Pakistan and Iran relationship, and particularly how significant is this standoff from the India point of view. Let's start our conversation with Major General A.K. Siraj. Major General Siraj, the situation very volatile on the ground. There is a multi-front war that is being fought by Pakistan, whether it is the western frontier or whether it is the eastern frontier. We take a look at how there have been Baloch protests that have been taking place. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has continued to be volatile. We have seen the Afghanistan border continuing to see insurgency into Pakistan. And now the recently dormant border along Iran is also seeing strife. How is Pakistan going to salvage the situation?
Yeah, Mega, 2-3 issues. One is very rightly brought out by you that no doubt, whatever may be the situation, but Pakistan is a hub center of terrorism. It has been sending terrorists all around its neighbors. Whether it is India, it is sending Lashkar-e-Toba and Jaish-Muhammad against Afghans. They have been always been sort of helping the militancy which were operating from Pakistan side and hitting inside Afghanistan. And Iran has been always accusing that the Sunni militant group like Jaish-Ul-Adl, they are operating and hitting the bases in Iran. So as far as Pakistan is concerned, this is not a new, in fact, one can say, alarm which has been raised that Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism. But what has happened first time is that Iran had courage to now strike in Pakistan. That is the first time when they have done it. They have struck in Jaish-Ul-Adl basically camps inside Pakistan, and this has shown that vulnerability of Pakistan, that Pakistan is vulnerable. However, one will say that yes, Pakistan has also retaliated back in a tit-for-tat action by striking Balochistan Liberation Army and Balochistan Liberation Front in Iran. But certainly it looks like that one is Pakistan is stand exposed of its telling that it had nothing to do with the terrorism. It is a victim of terrorism by itself. This is very, very clear now that Pakistan is a hub center of terrorism. And Pakistan, when it is telling to other countries that it is not sponsoring terrorism, it stands exposed. But at the same time, what has happened? What has happened is that Iran also has been hit in its own courtyard. Now, it is neither US nor Israel has able to hit them. It means it also shows the vulnerability of Iran. In case Pakistan can hit Balochistan area of Iran, it means Iran can also be hit, and therefore this may be a lesson for US and Israel that in case if they have to stop this war, that all those state-sponsored actors like Houthi rebel or Hamas or Hezbollah, hitting them will not yield result hit directly on Iran. This may be a lesson which will come out from this unless Iran does not retaliate again on Pakistan, which seemingly looks to be less. So therefore, both stand to expose to some extent, Mega.
Okay, all right. Rubinder, in a situation such as this where Jaish-Ul-Adl, the terrorist group that was targeted by the Iranian forces, comes to the fore, the existence of it the presence is in the Balochistan, Pakistan side of Balochistan, and it has continued to be so for decades together. We already understand the very fierce Sunni-Shia fight, Sunni-Shia battle that we see the ideologies clashing with each other between Iran and Pakistan. We also say that Pakistan and Iran are never going to see eye to eye. But is this also an attempt by the Iranians to showcase their regional hegemony in wake of the Gaza-Israel battle that is playing on in the Middle Eastern region, and all these terrorists, the Trinity, when we talk about the Hezbollah, we talk about Hamas, we talk about the Houthis, they are all being provided for, funded by Iranians.
Mega, couple of points. Firstly, yes, I think Iran's step was perhaps more due to its internal pressures. You know, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, over 80 people killed in that blast, right? Who did it? Iran blames the IS and all. Then, in month of December, apparently around 11 policemen were killed in this Iran, Balochistan, for which Iran blamed the Jaish-Ul-Adl based in Pakistan. Now, these two incidents, like killing of 11 policemen in a province and this blast, so I think Iranian leadership had to show something muscular to its own people to maintain their own control. So that's one, they took that step, which is unprecedented, by the way. Okay. With regards to Pakistan, I see, you know, this is a great opportunity for Pakistan to ingratiate itself back with the United States. And this maybe is what is playing out. See, America wants Iran distracted, Iran, you know, cut to its own size, you know, occupied in other places. What better than Pakistan playing that tool? Pakistan can play the tool, pressurize, tickle, not a larger conflict, but a low intensity conflict to distract Iran.
Yeah.
That works to the advantage of the US, absolutely. So, and Pakistan would love to do it, I would think, because what that would mean, Pakistan could trade that in with US with regards to, you know, its various other economic needs or, you know, guarantees and stuff like that. Just like the role Pakistan played in a sense with respect to Afghanistan, helping out the US in Afghanistan, here it could play a similar role, though much smaller in scale, but nevertheless, quite an important one.
Okay, all right. It's also interesting to note that there are a number of permutation combinations coming in terms of the diplomatic alliances that have been put out here, and also the complexities of the various nations who have their allies who are again in conflicting situations with one another. I particularly raise the point of China, which has close association with Iran and Russia, and on the other end, when you see a Sunni Shia clash between Pakistan and Iran, and the area of Balochistan and the Balochistan rebels, and we talk about the terrorists that have been attacking a number of construction sites, a number of engineers, the number of Chinese nationals in the state of Pakistan, again holds out a very conflicting position for the Chinese. Something similar to what Rubinder Sachdev spoke about, how the US can come closer to Pakistan, at least get a pretext of coming closer to Pakistan in terms of the kind of narrative it has been playing out for the past few weeks and months and years. In the recent development, also in its association, a close association that is only building leaps and bounds with India. We also take a look at how US and China have continued to be strong adversaries against each other, and with the Pakistan factor playing out, how is this going to then build in terms of the new diplomatic strategic ties between all these contenders that are in warring positions, whether we talk about the Middle Eastern region or we talk about the Ukraine war that has taken place for several months and years now, and finally the Middle Eastern war that has escalated where there are a number of Western nations who also have stake in this massive war. Professor Arvind Singh Tejawat, if you could also quickly tell in your views of how India sees itself and what should be the next steps India need to look forward to in, I don't know, in strategizing, in figuring out its position in this multi-pronged war across the globe?
You are right, Megha. The India is at a right position because from the beginning, the India followed the non-alignment policy, which is really working very well. And in terms of Pakistan, now it's really a very difficult situation once because the Pakistan claims that China is a good friend of him, but at the same time, now he's consulting with the US when he's retaliate in term of the Iran. So when the Pakistan retaliated, so he's consulting with the US diplomats and all. So now it's really a very strange situation that either the Pakistan is a friend of China or he's a friend of USA. So now it's really a very strange situation for the Pakistan. At the same time, what the Pakistan followed the policy, the terrorism cannot be the policy. What we can see in the Balochistan, the Pakistan claimed that he attacked on the Baloch Liberation Front people or the Baloch Liberation Army over there. But now at the same time, the Pakistan is supporting the similar kind of groups in his own country. So at the internal and in other hand, actually, we can see that the power dynamics and politics in particular, the international politics in particularly in that particular region is changing very fast. So let's see that what happens. But if we speak about in terms of Indian foreign policy, then I suppose the India just need to do nothing. India just need to see the further development in that particular region and the power dynamics.
Okay, all right. Very importantly said by Professor Arvind and Major General A.K. Siwaj, if you could shed more light into it, that India really does not need to do anything when it comes to its adversary, which is Pakistan, along our western frontier. Because as many distractions that Pakistan can be embroiled in, whether we talk about the Afghanistan border, we talk about the Iran border now, we take a look at what is happening in terms of POK, where people are coming up with resistance movements, combined with the Balochis attacking a number of these construction sites. There are terrorist attacks, there are bombings that are taking place. It will become highly untenable for the Pakistani generals, Pakistani army to continue their infiltration bids along the line of control.
Pakistan, in spite of being involved in a number of issues, whether their internal politics or whether economic issue where there is economic crisis, political instability, Tariq-e-Taliban Pakistan becoming bold day by day, terrorism on the rise, inflation is highest, their debt is more than $100 billion, no investment coming, exports of textile is closed, imports are increasing. But in spite of that, they still keep on depending upon terrorism as far as India is concerned. So therefore, saying that, that Pakistan is now embroiled also in Iran, also in Afghanistan, and also its internal problem. Will it stop sending terrorists in India, in Jammu and Kashmir? I say big no. Pakistan will keep on doing that. And that's where we have to be very alert and alive. As far as our counter-infiltration grid is concerned, it is very stable, but it has to remain stable throughout. That once they found the valley is now been fully protected, they have opened another font in Rajouri and Poonch. So the aim of this is to create sort of a disturbance in Jammu and Kashmir and show to the world that after Article 370 and 35 have been abrogated, all is not well in Jammu and Kashmir. And at the same time, they are also trying to activate Khalistan movement by sending drugs as well as weapons. So having said so, I can only say this, what has happened between Pakistan and Iran is open number of front. Remember that as far as from Iran side, they have now not only basically hit on the targets in Pakistan, they did it in Iraq and Syria against ISIS as well as Israel's spy agency location. But they did not retaliate. Pakistan has done what will now Iran further action will dictate as to how strong is Iran. In case it does not do anything, it will 100% give an indication to US and other like Israel that Iran can be strike inside in case Iran is not that strong, it is weak. It could not retaliate back to Pakistan. So
Okay.
this is a very important lesson. Second thing,
Okay.
very correctly, Pakistan may play a pivotal role, but Pakistan has to be alert that China is a friend of Pakistan as well as Iran. China does not want the situation to aggravate between both these countries. It is not to its interest. As far as India is concerned, we have to be worried about one issue. One is Chabar port, because our Chabar port has to be operationalized in another 1 year. As it is Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar just recently went to Iran. This was the point which was raised by the Iranians, that it is already late by 2 years and they are asking for compensation. So we have to make that operationalized, because this is a route which is going to Afghanistan, bypassing Pakistan to Central Asian states and connecting North-South transport corridor. I suppose we have to bother on the two aspects. Wait and watch, be alert as far as counter-infiltration grade is concerned. Pakistan is not going to let it go. Second thing is, as far as Iran is concerned, that we have to bother about Chabar. Otherwise, wait
all
and
right,
watch.
fair enough.
No
Rabinder
involvement.
Sachdev, quickly coming into the kind of narrative that the Pakistani ministers are now setting with regards to the attacks that took place inside Pakistan from the Iranian forces. Talking about how Bilawal Bhutto said that, you know, there have been surgical strikes that were made by India in 2016 and 2019. And this time around in 2024, there have been the Iranian strikes. So it was pertinent for Pakistan to strike back, to send out a strong, stern message that countries cannot mess with Pakistan. Is it fair to compare the surgical strikes initiated by India against Pakistan versus what has happened 2 days ago?
I would say absolutely not. Not only fair, it's apples and oranges. So the Indian context with respect to our surgical strikes, we'll put it aside. See here what's happening, both sides of the border, they are separatists, definitely, who want freedom for their lands or more autonomy. Those on the Iranian side who want that, some of them are, you know, based out of Pakistan, Balochistan, Pakistani Balochistan, and vice versa. Pakistan Baloch are in Iran, and they are kind of doing something cross the border with each other. So that's happening. Pertinent to the point is, I think, and what Bilawal said, yeah, but again, the point which I'm thinking and looking, Pakistan did this, right? It must have taken a lot into consideration. It must have, I think, talked to the US that this has happened. We are thinking we are going to do this. US might have, I think, played a happy role and encouraged these guys. Yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, I'm just building a scenario. And Pakistan has gone and done it. In this process, Pakistan has achieved two things. One, Bilawal can stand up and say that, you know, we've conducted a surgical strike inside Iran for the first time ever since 1980s Iran-Iraq war. No foreign country has, I mean, forget surreptitiously, but openly struck inside Iraq. So Pakistan can say that macho. Secondly, what it does is that it helps Pakistan ingratiate itself with America, and for America, it opens up a new tool. It opens up a new opportunity to needle, distract, trouble Iran on this border, albeit on a low intensity. Okay. As far as China is concerned, China generally, yes, for China, Pakistan is a friend, or Pakistan, China friend. Iran is a friend, but China generally kind of, you know, stays away. China will wait and watch and see that how this thing opens up here and plays out. It may play some, you know, role in the back rooms, but it won't maybe mind much, a little bit, you know, this dynamic between Pakistan and Iran playing out. As far as India is concerned, I think, yeah, we have, I think, some worries. We'll wait and watch and see. But we should have, absolutely, as General Siva says, strengthen our Iranian relations, or I would say we should always be working on that. Secondly, we should look to see, very important, I would say, how to prevent the US from falling into the trap of Pakistan's charm offensive. But here you see the point is, US sees it in its own strategic interests, given the situation in the Middle East, that Iran be constrained by some tools. And here this opportunity has come up, so they would exploit it. If I were US, I would exploit it. If I were Pakistan, I would also exploit it to get closer to US.
Okay. Major General Sivaj, now also being touted as a face-saving measure by Pakistan in the retaliatory attack that has taken place along its border into the Iranian territory. how do we move forward as India to ensure there is more pressure that is put by us across international organizations and countries? And as Rupinder Sachdev said, that United States has vested interests and it would rather enjoy the kind of powerful presence it has on Pakistan if there is the common enemy, that is Iran, that is going to be hurt. As mentioned, in the Middle East, there have been the Iranian forces that have attacked Syria. In Syria and in Iraq, fight with the ISIS continuing. The United States of America, which is in the Gulf of Aden, the Red Sea, and the Houthis being attacked and counter-attacked with these missile attacks from the United States of America. There are several other countries in Europe, UK, Canada, who are all coming together in support of the United States of America. Now, can a wait-and-watch approach by India really work in our favor? Or should there be a more aggressive stance taken by India here, keeping in mind that India refuses to take sides? It is playing a delicate diplomatic association, whether it is with Israel or with Iran.
Absolutely. See, Megha, very rightly, one point which you brought initially, that it was a face saving for Pakistan. Absolutely, because see, Pakistan army was also on the receiving end. What happened very recently, where there was a civil war type situation which has erupted in Pakistan, and Pakistan army was shown in a poor light. And remember, it is a Pakistani army which controls Pakistan. It is, everyone says that every country has an army, but in Pakistan, the army has a country. The power flows from Rawalpindi, not from Islamabad. So therefore, they had no other choice but to strike back to Iran and show to them that Pakistan Defense Forces will not take it lightly. To that extent, they have achieved it. And now, as far as Iran is concerned, very rightly brought out this issue. Iran has hit on Syria, Iraq, they have not retaliated. But Pakistan did it. It opened a front for US, in case if they have to sort out any problem in Middle East, it is not Houthi, Hamas and Hezbollah. The biggest problem is Iran, because Iran is the one who is basically sponsoring these state craft actors. So therefore, to me, it looks like that possibly US will start thinking, if you strike on Iran, Iran is not that powerful that it will hit back. So that can be point one. As far as India is concerned, I suppose we have to do 2-3 things. One is that we have already become very active in Arabian Sea. We have got more than 12 ships now, and we have got ensured that in the Red Sea, our commercial interests are looked after, our ships are protected, and we are trying to open front with Iran. Now, the point which we were trying to convey is what should be our approach. We are not part of International Maritime Force, which is being run by the US Operation Prosperity Guardian. The reason is simple. We don't want to now go against Iran openly, because there can be a chance when there can be a clash between Iran and also this maritime force. But whereas we have gone separately, we are looking after our own interest in the Red Sea and also looking after the interest of all the friendly countries. I suppose that is a very, one can say, a very wise step taken by India, that we are totally non-aligned, neutral, trying to see what is our national interest rather than going to any side, whether it is US or Iran.
Fair enough. But this non-aligned foreign policy for India, will it work, will it not? Professor Arvind Singh Tejawat, does this very delicate situation put India and US against each other?
No, I don't believe so, because actually India has to follow his own policy and US has to follow his own policy. So I suppose there is no there is a competitiveness, of course, but I suppose there is no the comparison between these policies. And at the same time, what the General Sivat said just before a few moments, that the India followed the non-alignment policy. So it is really a good policy, and India has to just think about and India might have an opinion about the current situation, but India have no effect because of the scenario. And at the same time, Megha, I believe that the Pakistan is a nuclear power, so the Iran has already challenged it. So I suppose means keeping the nuclear weapons is not going to pay you anymore as being if you are not strong enough in terms of economy or maybe some other things. So this incident has proven that if Pakistan will not grow as a mature nation, then I suppose the future is really dark for Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Another interesting aspect that I would like to delve, and Rubinder Sachdev, in wake of how the US forces have put up their warships and submarines and destroyers in the Red Sea, and there are a number of Indian destroyers which are also patrolling the Gulf of Aden. But it's interesting to note that there have not been any efforts being made by the Indian Navy for the rescue missions of merchant vessels that do not have Indians on board. Now, this is also a message that goes out to the Americans and to the Houthis and on behest of the Houthis to the Iranians, that India is not looking to escalate the situation further, not looking to enter into this conflict between the US and Iran, which are at this point of time being represented by the Houthis.
Very true, Megha. See, India has not joined the coalition of the willing, whichever navies, which the Prosperity Guardian, which US put together. It has Netherlands, Denmark, France, UK. I think Bahrain is the only one in this region. So India is not part of that coalition. So we are not taking sides there, that side. But on the other hand, yes, we are proving and demonstrating our presence and influence as a blue water navy, which extends, which has abilities effectively extending into the Arabian Sea much beyond our shores. So that's kind of a demonstration of India's growing reach and influence. Coming back to what we could do, there was a question always that with regards to Iran, Pakistan, I think this may not be a bad time for India or whoever is to raise the issue of Balochistan. And I mean Pakistan, Balochistan, right? That has been an issue which has not, which has come up once in a while, but this may be a time to raise again the issue of the difficulties being faced by the people of Balochistan who are asking for more autonomy from the Pakistan federal state. So Balochistan suddenly is in world news, right? World headlines. Nobody would have known where Balochistan or what Balochistan is. But suddenly now, because of this, all world capitals, they are talking about it, media is carrying it. So this may be a good occasion from a communication point of view to raise the issue of Balochistan. That's one. Secondly, I think one part of why Pakistan took this decision could be also, and also highly likely, the elections are due on the 8th of February. The Pakistani Senate and the army, for certain reasons, are asking for the elections to be delayed. Okay, the election commission, and there's a lot of new symbols being issued and all. The election commission of Pakistan, I think 2 or 3 days ago, said that, guys, if you keep on giving such more symbols, we will not be able to conduct on the 8th. So there are multiple reasons. So this could be a reason created that, okay, there's a national security, right, an attack on us in our territory by a foreign nation. We need to stand up and all, etc. And taking that as an excuse or a reason, the elections may be postponed. That could be another reason for this.
Okay. All right. I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast. The interesting developments, what is going to be India foreign policy is a sensitive matter and also a wait and watch game in wake of this multi-pronged war that is being witnessed in the Middle East region.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.